flexibility in being able to tailor it around family life, work, and get that blend just right. So yeah, it's flexibility, definitely.
You're not just learning skills that you to prove that you can learn. It's actually, it's work that'll get used, and therefore you put a bit more work into it.
It meant I could concentrate on work and still continue my career. Fitting in around work can take some organising, but it's worked really well. Lots of support from the university.
I chose Postmo because of the flexibility in delivery of course. I'm still working, and I couldn't have the time to come in for full time, and I thought whilst working and still be able to do it online, that was great for me.
Well, I live in Portsmouth, so I'm from this area, so it fitted in with my job and the family. The important thing for me is to be able to maintain my current job and not impact on my family too much.
I'm feeling really happy that I've actually got a distinction in my MSc. So it's all the work that I've put in for 4 years on distance learning.
Well, I feel very good inside. It's been a while coming, and I feel a sense of achievement.
I feel out of this world. I feel happy. I feel fulfilled. I feel that today I have really achieved my dream of being a graduate of this great University of Portsmouth.
Have you been looking and waiting for opportunities to be globally competitive? How long have you been searching for a way to enhance and align your academic documents without leaving your job or spend long hours studying? Wait and search no more. Ralph Consulting, the academic consultant for the Philippines of the London Institute of Business and Technology, LIBT, can help you align your academic documents and be globally competitive. With LIBT's diploma and degree programs, you will be able to get the competencies and certifications you have been waiting for only a short time. Plus, you may apply for a scholarship grant that will give you a 50% discount on your tuition fee. What are you waiting for? For quick processing and approval of scholarship applications, visit rlbalmaceda.com/education or email at ralph@libt.co.uk. Hello and good afternoon to everyone. We welcome you to the Act Local, Think Global webinar series of the London Institute of Business and Technology, LIBT. LIBT Philippines has organized a series of webinars entitled Global Competitiveness Amidst Covid-19 and Beyond to discuss the challenges and opportunities ushered in by the new normal in relation to industries of hospitality and tourism, information technology, and business and management. The last of the series for business and management is happening right now. So we welcome all our participants from various campuses and offices of LIBT, namely London, England, Bangkok, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, and of course from the various regions and provinces of the Philippines. Before I proceed, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Jerome Robles, and my friends call me Rome. I am the host and producer of the show on the internet, TriPH Media Live, produced by TriPH Media Broadcasting, which goes online every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. I'm also a consultant under Ralph Consulting, where I do training, development, and facilitation. I've worked with Professor Ralph since 2016 and have handled training development in the fields of safety, emergency preparedness, process control, and improvement, among many others. By the way, it has been a pleasure moderating the webinars of the series, and I want to thank you for supporting and attending this last of the series. But who knows? LIBT Philippines will organize a similar activity sometime in the very near future. Then perhaps we'll see each other again. In the meantime, now that you're here, before we all begin and have the fun and the information that we're going to receive for our webinar today, let's share with you some important information, shall we? Well, first of all, whether you are watching live via Facebook or YouTube, please make sure to comment below to confirm your attendance. Now, you can type your full name, comma, your organization, comma, and your location. Now, you may see the example below here on your screens. Note that even if you are registered, if you do not have proof of any participation, no certificate will be issued. Secondly, just in case that you are watching now but you have not registered, it is okay and you're welcome to join. But to claim a certificate of participation, please make sure that you register on the page. Now, here's the link to where you may go ahead and register now during the webinar. You can still register during this webinar and we will send your certificate. Make sure you stay until the end because there will be a very important announcement regarding your certificates. And finally, there will be a question and answer portion after all the presentation. Kindly type in your questions in the comment box below and I will read them out loud and present your question on the screen. Now, don't forget, indicate as to whom you would like to direct your questions to. So we would have speakers here, which you will see later. So indicate his name and you are going to direct that question to him. Here's an example of the question on your screens right now. Of course, this webinar is made possible to us by our partners. The London Institute of Business and Technology Philippines team, Modala Beach Resort, The Filipino Hospitality, Martin Nichols Consulting, Ralph Consulting, TriPH Media Broadcasting, Phil Robotics, University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers Brunei Chapter, the Filipino Community in Brunei Darussalam, Bhutan Education and Technology Academy Park, Ambagan, Philippines. Thank you so much for your support. Now, of course, let's get the ball rolling and start introducing our first speaker of today. Our first speaker is the Director for Academic Affairs of the London Institute of Business and Technology. She has over 10 years of experience in education, social and health services in Thailand and Switzerland. She is an inclusive leader who understands the importance of creating caring, reflective, collaborative, and supportive communities that foster educational and workforce excellence, as well as social and emotional well-being of individuals in the learning organization. She strongly believes that education may be employed in ending poverty and discrimination. In her role as a leader and educational consultant, she invests her time in developing and coaching others. Our speaker finished her bachelor's degree in education and psychology at Asia Pacific International University and recently earned a certificate in school management and leadership at Harvard Business School Online. She is here to introduce to us the London Institute of Business and Technology and its program. Please help me in welcoming Miss No Thane.
Hello and happy Hapun Po. My name is No Thane and I'm the Director of Academic Affairs at London Institute of Business and Technology, or in short we call LIBT. I would like to start by sharing an overview of LIBT, followed by a brief talk on the changes in the nature of work and workforce, and how LIBT as a learning community caters to the need of the fast-changing world of 21st century. So LIBT is a digital-centric tech ed company, and we operate in UK, Singapore, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, and recently are expanding to the Philippines as well. So we're very excited about that prospect. We have trained over 2,000 plus corporate executives during the last 3 or 4 years, and currently have a student base of 300 from various parts of the world, studying various disciplines. So we offer just to briefly share you, we offer level 4, 5, and 7 qualification in business, startups and entrepreneurship, travel and tourism, education, human resource, accounting and finance, law, computer science, IT, and cybersecurity. So you can see there's an array of disciplines that you can pursue through LIBT. And LIBT is accredited by Qualify and ATHEs. So this means that all the program that we deliver are Ofqual approved. So Ofqual is the UK government entity that regulates education qualifications. And we currently have direct progression and top-up arrangement with the University of Portsmouth. And you've just seen the graduates from Portsmouth in the previous videos, and also the University of Northampton, Northampton from the UK. And we are expanding our progression agreement to other universities in Asia and Australia. And what this means for you as a learner is that, after completing the diploma programs, you'll be eligible to direct entry to relevant undergraduate and postgraduate top-up program at these universities, and also the university that are in close partnership with Qualify and ATHE. And I'm going to talk a bit more about the level 4, 5, and 6. If you're wondering what they are equivalent to. So level 4 is equivalent to the first year of undergraduate program, and level 5 will be equivalent to the second year of university undergraduate program. And after successfully completing level 4 and 5 diplomas, students are able to progress to the third and final year of an undergraduate program and finish the degree directly from the university. Likewise, after completing level 7 diploma, students are eligible for direct entry to master program and complete the degree directly through the university within a year. So this is how you can save time and money, and that's our vision, is to make sure the education is accessible and relevant. So just to give you an example, we're really excited to share this with you. We recently have several students who completed Qualify Level 7 Diploma in Strategic Management and Leadership, and they've been accepted to MA in Business Management, MA in Business and Computer Studies at the University of Portsmouth. So we wish them the very best of luck in pursuing their further studies. Moving on to today's topic on business management, I recently attended the Skillsoft annual customer event called Perspective, and one of the keynote speakers, Esther Martinez, said, "Technology is advancing at unprecedented speed." And our second webinar before this was actually on information and technology. And these technological advancements require us, all of us, regardless of which field that we are in, to build new skills and to learn, and maybe sometimes unlearn or relearn and specialize skills. And we know that traditional education and corporate training simply cannot keep up with these changes. So I'd like to share 3 main takeaways and hope that you will be able to remember towards the end. And I'm really looking forward to the Q&A session, actually, because there is really a wonderful panel of expert educators and professionals waiting to answer your questions. Okay, so going back to the three main takeaway. The first one is the nature of work and workforce has evolved at a rapid pace in recent years, and we're not going to be able to stop it. This is happening. This is the reality. Okay, it's changing constantly and rapidly. The second point, learning is the key to digital transformation at an individual level, at a team or organizational level. It is central to succeeding as the nature of work evolves. And third and lastly, in new and remote hybrid model workplace. I'm sure you're familiar with this. Some of us work from home, some of us go to work, some of us meet on online meeting. And there's this hybrid model of work that we're all accustomed to. So each of us as a contributor must have the ability and willingness to manage our own time and learning in order to be able to keep up with these changes. On top of ongoing technical innovation and digital transformation, there's been a significant change in the way we look at things, our perspective, our attitude in regards to learning and work, especially post-COVID era. People are starting to get used to learning and working from home now, regardless of the inertial challenges. In terms of work, and you'll be able to relate to this. You can accomplish the same task and also still be productive in the comfort of your own home. You can save time commuting, you can avoid unnecessary meeting or any disruptions. And employees and likewise employers have become very conscious and cautious of the time that they choose to spend on particular things. There's a shift in the way people are prioritizing efficiency and productivity. Workplace is not just a place where people go and sit at their own desk and work individually and occasionally go for a meeting. Trying to accomplish the assigned work, from 9 to 5. The current focus now is on teamwork, on collaboration, and whenever people are able to meet in person or even online, they're very keen to engage in creative processes and building a learning community. And we go to work to share ideas and to learn from one another, not just to do your own work, which you can do anywhere, right? It could be at home, it could be at a coffee shop, at a workplace. You can still be productive and you can still be efficient if you're able to manage your time well. And we can use the same concept for learning too. We can't take away the social aspects of learning, because it's still important. But in this day and age, learning can happen anywhere. And that's why we need the learning community. And that's why I appreciate what Esther Martini said about the importance of having the ability and willingness to manage your time and learning, whether you're a CEO or an intern starting at a new company. We need to continue to learn individually, as a team, as an organization, to keep up with the changes. So I would like to conclude by highlighting how LIBT as a learning community strives to stay relevant to the changes that we're all seeing in today's IT and business world. We provide robust and realistic plans in preparing our learners for a fast-changing workforce. And you will keep hearing this. Things are changing at a phenomenal pace. And being industry-driven, we have managed to identify the big gaps that exist between academia and industry. And as I said earlier, our vision is to make education accessible and relevant. Technology innovation is at the heart of what we do. We're a college as a service platform, and we've taken all the behavior of classic software as a service or SaaS and incorporated those behavior into education. And LIBT differs from conventional learning platforms because we enable our prospective students to enjoy a trial period. We give 30 days a trial period prior to signing up or making long-term commitments for a specific course of their choosing. We allow students to make monthly payments and set up self-served accounts and provide support through digital channels. In a nutshell, LIBT provides a quick and affordable education option for learning the most up-to-date and relevant skills to enter the workforce. So on that note, I would like to wish you all the very best in your ongoing professional and personal learning journeys. It's wonderful that you're able to join and give up, an hour or two of your time and joining this learning community. So all the very best, enjoy, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Na. Of course, those information very important for us now, especially if you're joining for the first time here in this webinar series. LIBT provides this opportunity for all of us. And if you are interested to know more, please go ahead and visit their website at www.libt.co.uk. And if you have questions for Ms. Na later, please don't forget to write down your questions down below in your comment and direct the question to Ms. Na Thane, as we will read them out later in the and at the end of our presentation during our question and answer portion. I've been advised that our speaker that's coming up is somebody who will help us to understand management in the public office. So our speaker rose from a family that is peace-loving and are civil servants. He earned his bachelor's degree major in chemistry, Doctor of Medicine at Far Eastern University Arts and Science, VMEI Institute of Medicine. He then took his master's in health service administration at Ateneo School of Business. A physician by profession, Doc June, as his family, friends, and colleagues fondly call him, started his career as a medical volunteer at St. Martin Outreach Center. He also served as the P2LR, Medical Corps at the Armed Forces of the Philippines. As his oath to save lives and practice his degree, he holds different jobs and positions in the medical field. He became medical examiner at Physician Diagnostic Center, ambulance doctor at Ace Corps Ambulance, physician reliever at Health Card Hospital and Miraculous Medical Hospital. In 1995, he became Medical Officer 5 and Hospital Director of Santa Cruz District Hospital in the province of Marinduque, Philippines. Called to fulfill a dream to touch and change the lives of every Marinduqueños, he entered politics and won as Vice Governor of Marinduque from 2013 to the present day. He also served as Governor of the said province for 6 months by way of rule of succession. Doc June Bacoro is also involved in both government, civic, and non-government organizations like the League of the Vice Governor of the Philippines, serving as its Deputy Business Manager, National Vice President of the Junior Chamber International, past President of the Marinduque Chamber of Commerce, past President of Marinduque Tourism Council, President of the Community Board Bagsakan Center, and the Philippine Public Health Association President. He is also an alumnus of the Alpha Phi Omega, or APO Philippines Incorporated, an international collegiate service fraternity and sorority, a member of the JC's Philippines International Organization, Philippine Association of Chemical Society, Philippine Alliance of Chemical Society, and Zeta Kappa Omega Medical Organization. Ladies and gentlemen, join me please in welcoming the Honorable Vice Governor of the Province of Marinduque, Vice Governor Romulo Bacoro Jr.
Okay. To the London Institute of Business and Technology, or LIBT Philippines, headed by its country director, Jan Alianza, and the Deputy Country Director, Ralph Balmaceda, my friend. Thank you very much for the honor and privilege that you have accorded to me and the province of Marinduque in the Mimaropa region of the Philippines. To the very energetic STEAM panel this afternoon, moderated by Mr. Robles, to Mr. Rex Artin Villanueva, Director of Filipino Association Brunei, to Ms. Nante, Director Academic Affairs of the London Institute of Business and Technology, and to Mr. Kezang, CEO and co-founder of the Beta Park, Bhutan. It is my pleasure to be recognized among all of you. Your hard work and dedication amidst the impossible challenges of COVID-19 pandemic is very much appreciated. And to everyone watching live across the different social media platform all over the Philippines, Southeast Asia, and the world, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. We are now in the second year of our fight against COVID-19. These are challenging times for everyone in the world, more so for my kababayan in Marinduque. This last month have been heartbreaking and dark, and it is heartbreaking and dark still. We do not see any bright light at the end of the tunnel. As you all know, I'm a medical director and I'm a doctor by profession. A medical frontliner, public servant if you must. Every day I am witness to how our local hospital and infirmaries are flooded by surge of COVID-19 patients. Inside our hospital, our medical staff are so exhausted. Most of them asleep inside our hospital. They self-quarantine in the hospital as a means to protect their friends and families. Outside our hospital, we have some scared the pandemic lockdowns are enforced right and left. And our local economy is struggling to keep afloat. COVID-19, yes. As a matter of fact, I'm a victim of COVID-19 last January of this year, spending millions of pesos. It's so heartbreaking, you know. Lucky for me because I was able to survive. Maybe I have so many things to do as part of the community, you know. Uh, and it does not plan to go away anytime soon. COVID will always be here. And the best that we can do now is to learn and live with this pandemic time. To move forward, help will come from local government that are good people out there ready to help. There are so many philanthropists who, you know, trust in my advocacy because of what I'm doing now. I've been doing this since 1995, doing outreach for my kababayan. Uh, when I started my career as a medical practitioner, you know, since 1998, I don't extract any single cent anymore. It's all free. Uh, Lingid sa kalaman ninyo, you know, I'm a volunteer for 12 years from Dominicans. When I entered politics, it is more on vocation. It is not more on, you know, business or whatsoever. I adopted the volunteerism that what's been inculcated to me from nuns of Dominicans from Siena College. So since 1998 up to the present, I'm still doing this for free. I don't know, maybe this was been my calling in my life. But I'm happy and fulfilled because what can I say? I touch the lives of my people in Marinduque. And uh, maybe after my career as a vice governor, I'll still pursue what I'm doing now. Uh, Helping people, but most of all ourselves. Ano? Programs and food industry, among others, we have high education institution equipped with technology and manned by competent personnel. Before I end up, uh, with my uh, message, do you know that Marinduque has the most beautiful butterfly in the world? Yeah. Butterfly don't know the color of their wings, but human eyes see how beautiful they are. You might not see the good in you, but others see the best in you. So don't be tired of doing good. The more you are unrecognized, the more you are blessed and loved by God. When I reach 50, it is not more on success. I rather choose significance. Maybe this is how I live now. I'm very thankful to God and to my family, especially to my wife, Elizabeth, and to the people around me. They inspired me a lot, and I am obliged uh, to do more, to work harder because I'm so happy and fulfilled with what I am doing. COVID will not last until tomorrow. Maybe it's another 5 to 7 years, but we have to cope up with this. And I'm so happy of doing this because it is my passion. And you know, uh, it really breaks my heart whenever I see COVID patient who are not being attended. Whenever I go to the victim, I don't care anymore if I will be infected again because I pity them, especially those who are less fortunate individuals, those who cannot buy medicines. Uh, uh, I get these medicines from my own pocket, from those people who help me and who believe in our advocacy of helping other people. And I'm so happy now, you know, because I have lots of patients who are well now. And I'm praying to God that this pandemic will stop. But we really need discipline. Discipline is the key. And sometimes I really wonder, even though I'm already vaccinated, I have anti-flu, I have anti-pneumonia, and I do all the protocols that they give us. But sometimes you can still have another bout of COVID. So there's no guarantee. The best thing to do is continue praying, continue what is set by protocols by IATF, and be a servant of God. Thank you very much, and once again, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Thank you, Governor Jun Bacoro. Before we let you go, sir, we would like to call on first the country director of LIBT Philippines to present the certificate of appreciation. Let's call on Mr. John Alianza.
Hello, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your talk. So, okay, so can we post the certificate? Okay, so LIBT Philippines is awarding the certificate of appreciation to Honorable Romulo A. Bacoro Jr. in recognition of participation as a panelist for the session on Business and Management of Webinar Series, Global Competitiveness amidst COVID-19 and Beyond, hosted by LIBT Philippines on the 20th of September 2021, signed by Cecily Patirani, Chief Executive Officer of LIBT, and John Alianza. So thank you very much, sir, and we look forward collaborating with the province of Marinduque for our academic programs. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, Mr. John Alianza and the Honorable Vice Governor Romulo Bacoro Jr. Of course, we would like to take a moment to greet those who have joined us now in the online webinar on your Facebook or YouTube accounts. First, let's greet Mr. Raymer Opis Matarundo from Marinduque State College, Agumay Mayan, Boac, Marinduque. Good afternoon, Sir Raymer. And of course, Marwin Degomo from Cordova Public College, Cordova, Cebu. Miss Rochelle Gwyn Juanico from the University of Eastern Philippines, Catarman, Northern Samar. Good afternoon to those from Samar. And Jazel Mones from the Finma University of Pangasinan. A pleasant good afternoon to you all. Please don't forget to put in your questions later. Now, I would like to greet also Hener Udanga from Marinduque State College. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Hener. Again, I'd like to remind everyone, if you have questions, you write them down. You may comment down below, and then please indicate who would you like to direct your questions to. Now, we will call on our next speaker, and in this webinar we will be hearing from this presentation. He is a Filipino but lives and works in Brunei Darussalam. He was connected with the Development Bank of the Philippines when he was still in the Philippines. When he moved to Brunei, he worked at Hyatt Borneo Management Services for 6 years. An artwork, media, and event specialist, he is now with FS Biomed Technologies based in Kiolap Bandar, Seri Begawan. He finished his Bachelor of Science in Computer Science at the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila. Our speaker is a director of the Filipino Association in Brunei Darussalam. He is here to share to us their best practices on association management and share to us some of their activities. Let us all welcome Mr. Rex Arvin Villanueva.
Alright, thank you very much, Sir Jerome. Magandang hapon sa lahat ng ating kababayan sa Brunei, sa Pilipinas, at sa buong mundo. So, in behalf of the Filipino Association in Brunei, with our President Malu Ramos Wong, we would like to extend our thanks to the London Institute of Business and Technology for inviting us, our organization, to be in this webinar for us to share whatever we have here in Brunei. I would also like to commend one of our resource speaker, Vice Governor Bacoro. Very timely that he is the Vice Governor right now, and he's a medical frontliner. The people of Marinduque is very proud and very lucky to have you right now. And also, I would like to thank the organizers, Sir Jerome, the moderators, Sir Ralph, Mr. Jan Alianza, also now, and also Kesang. This presentation is prepared by yours truly and narrated by our President Malu Ramos Wong. So you can just view I hope we are hoping that whatever we share here is very helpful for your business and your organization too. Sir Jerome?
This is Brunei Darussalam. Negara Brunei Darussalam, the abode of peace, is a country located on the north coast of the island of Borneo in Southeast Asia. Apart from its South China Sea coast, it is completely surrounded by the Malaysian state of Sarawak. It is separated into two parts by the Sarawak district of Limbang. Brunei is the only sovereign state entirely on Borneo. The remainder of the island is divided between Malaysia and Indonesia. As of 2020, its population was 460,345, of whom 100,000 live in the capital and largest city, Bandar Seri Begawan. Approximately 15,000 documented overseas Filipino workers and their dependents living in the entire nation. The government is an absolute monarchy ruled by its sultan, entitled the Yang Dipertuan, and implements a combination of English common law and Sharia law as well as general Islamic practices. The Filipino Association was established in 1982 by a group of founding overseas Filipino workers that aims unity and harmony in the service of the Filipino community. Even before the formal diplomatic relations between the Philippines and Brunei Darussalam, which was later established in 1984. To present, the Filipino Association is a mother of both professional and social-civic organizations of overseas Filipino workers in the country, bearing 15 sub-organizations under its umbrella. The Filipino Association in Brunei is an organization of documented overseas Filipino workers and their dependents residing in Brunei. The Filipino Association is a non-profit, non-government, and non-partisan, duly constituted organization. It was initially formed in March 1982 at Jalan, Ong Sang Pin, Bandar Seri Begawan, as an informal gathering of Filipinos, serving as a venue for social and cultural interaction among its members. From 80 members at its inception in 1982 to 1983 to its peak of 8,200 members in 1996 to 1997. As of today, the Filipino Association is 39 years of existence. In 1983, the association was invited to participate in the ceremonial parade marking the independence of Brunei Darussalam from British rule. This led to the formal establishment of what is now called the Filipino Association. The Filipino Association was officially registered with the Registry of Societies on 12 November 1983 under registration number BPD 25/708 and is duly recognized by the Brunei government. True to its objective of fostering closer cooperation among members of the Filipino community in Brunei through social and cultural activities, to assist whenever possible in the fostering of good relations between the citizens and government of Negara, Brunei Darussalam, and of the Republic of the Philippines, and to disseminate information to all members on matters of primary and or general interest to the Filipino community in Brunei Darussalam, and to serve as a means of discussing such matters provided, however, that neither partisan politics nor sectarian religion shall be debated upon. Through the decades, the Filipino Association has embarked on various projects and activities that showcase the talents, skills, and versatility of the Filipinos. In the past, the Filipino socio-cultural imitatives included Hatid Saya, UST Salingawi Dance Troupe, libreng pagkain sa Araw ng Kalayaan, opening of Social Security System, SSS, to the Filipinos abroad, Ringgit Mula sa Puso, Little Miss Philippines, Karaoke Singing Contest, Dancing King and Queen, Miss OFW Contest, Family Day, Pasko ng Pinoy, and various sports. The Filipino Association is visible in all undertakings of the Philippine Embassy when social welfare and responsibility is concerned. It is ready to lend a helping hand to our fellow kababayan who are abused and mistreated by their employers. It has proven as a reliable source of support to our countless kababayan through its charitable endeavors. The Filipino Association has consistently contributed nation building by embracing the spirit of bayanihan, extended social responsibility initiatives to distress overseas Filipino workers. In the face of these challenges, we aim to strengthen collaboration between 15 affiliated organizations our own constituents, government, and other civic and professional organizations, and to unite and to be in the service of the Filipino community in Brunei. As Filipino Association President, we remain fully committed in supporting all overseas Filipino workers and their activities and professional groups under our umbrella. To answer your questions on our associations, on how we manage our activities, how we help our members, adjustment, strategies, innovations to ensure that our association is future-proof. Number 1, since each of the organizations under our FA umbrella have their own organizational structure, hence their own leaders, we can macromanage the associations by coordinating with their leaders regularly. Number 2, opinions, suggestions, and recommendations are often and duly heard by the FA Execom, then carefully evaluated whereby adjustments can be implemented if necessary. Number 3, through the aforementioned regular coordination with the leaders and direct members, they can raise concerns on their members' current employment challenges, especially those who require welfare assistance to us, which we can then pass their information along to the Philippine Embassy. Number 4, regular meetings. First, monthly meeting. Filipino Association Executive Committees and Officers. Second, quarterly meetings. All presidents of the Filipino Association's umbrella organization. Third, mid-year meeting. General Assembly by Family Day. Fourth, annual general meeting. General Assembly, annual dinner gathering, the Filipino Association and its umbrella organization salo-salo together. Number 5, recognizing all contributors, collaborators, and sponsors of the organizations in every of its events and activities. Number 6, in compliance with the Registry of Societies Act 2015, Chapter 203, Laws of Brunei, we can give reminders, warnings, penalties, and in the worst case, the revocation of the affiliation and membership to those who violate this act and the laws of Brunei. Number 7, continuous promotion of the organization through social media to raise awareness of the benefits of being FA member. Number 8, promote and support livelihood program which aim to prepare all FA members for their retirements or entrepreneurial plans for those who wish to return to our motherland. Number 9, well-managed information system of memberships records of the association. And lastly, number 10, transparency of all funds movements of the organization. Isang napakagandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Una, nais kong magpasalamat sa pag-unlak sa imbitasyon ng Filipino Association sa pagtitipon na ito. Indeed, it is an honor that you have graced tonight's occasion. We, from the Filipino Association, are glad to welcome you once again. now on its third Salo-Salo Together sa pagtatapos ng taon. This event is held not only for socialization per se, but for us to rekindle our unity and solidarity that we have embodied through the years that passed. What's more for tonight is an opportunity for us to say our gratitude for the consistent and unstinting support that all of you have given so freely for the love of FA. I may not be able to convey our sincere thanks to you individually, but FA projects and activities would not be a success without the single support coming from all of you, especially the umbrella organizations. Maraming salamat po for journeying with us. This may not only the warm of Yuletide season, but for throughout the years, many years to come. Muli, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat at mabuhay ang Filipino Association.
Isang magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Good morning, everybody! Morning! Sa umagang ito, tayo po ay magkakaroon ng isang pagsasanay na tumutugon po sa tinatawag na reintegration program ng ating gobyerno. Tayunin po ng programa na ito na kayo ay magkaroon ng skills upgrading para po kung halimbawa gusto nyo na umuwi sa Pilipinas, magamit po ninyo sa munting negosyo.
Maraming salamat sa inyong pakikilahok sa ating project na Gunting at Supply Project na handog ng ating embahada. Siyempre sa pagkikipagtulungan ng ating Filipino Association or FA.
po kami kasi nandito po kami sa restaurant. Maraming tao po.
3 months po kami sinahura ng half. Pero okay naman po kasi naging okay naman po yung amo namin.
Na lahat talaga naapektuhan, nag-aalala tayo sa mga mahal natin sa Pinas, na lumalaban tayo kung ma-overcome natin itong pandemic na to. Kapit lang tayo kay Lord at alam natin malalampasan natin.
Kahit na may pandemya, tuloy-tuloy pa rin po yung ginagawa naming serbisyo para sa mga kapwa.
Kailangan kong gawin na pumasok para sa family ko at sa serbisyo ng company.
Yung sarili namin kasi hindi rin natin alam kung sino yung pumapasok sa clinic.
Pero kailangan magtrabaho para ma-avoid yung mga viruses and bacteria. We have to clean namin mabuting clinic.
Affected quite a lot. We felt in the first few months very sad, and we felt this kind of depression when they announced there will be a complete lockdown around the borders.
Kalamidad man or pandemya ay handa at bukas ang aming tanggapan para tanggapin ang inyong mga pangangailangang ipadala sa Pilipinas.
So yan po yung our presentation to this webinar series.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Rex Villanueva. And of course, we'd like to invite you all to ask your questions down below. Comment with a question for Mr. Rex, and we will read them out later. Have you already registered while you're here? You're watching now? Welcome, welcome. If you have not registered yet to claim a certificate, you must register, and we'll provide a link down below here on the screen so you may see where you can register. If you are now registered, please remember to put down your name, comma, your organization, comma, and your location in order to show proof of participation for this webinar. There you go. That's the example on the screen below. Now, it is time for us to greet some of our friends from not only from Brunei, but from Bhutan. Here is Sangay Dema, and Sangay Dema is from LIBT Thimphu, Bhutan. Good afternoon from the Philippines. Teshring Yangchen from LIBT Thimphu, Bhutan. And I believe we have one more. Is Deki Yongzam, LIBT Thimphu, Bhutan. A pleasant good afternoon from the Philippines. Welcome and thank you for joining this webinar. And speaking of Bhutan, our next speaker is the co-founder and chief executive officer at the Bhutan Education and Technology Academy, or Beta Park, where he is currently prototyping an inclusive, self-sustaining, tech-driven education and innovation ecosystem in the remote mountains of Bhutan and the Eastern Himalayas. He has been in leadership and strategic management roles, spanning diverse industries and walks of life, including public, private, and non-profit sectors. On his lifelong learning journey, he led some worthwhile socio-economic development projects funded by the European Union, World Bank, International Telecommunications Union, International Trade Center, SAARC Development Fund, and the Royal Government of Bhutan. Kezang loves being on the social entrepreneur journey. He is a sustainability delegate at heart, and a happiness and well-being explorer and proponent at large. Kezang holds a Bachelor of Electronics and Communications Engineering degree from the Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, India, and a Master's in Communications Management with distinction from the University of Strathclyde, United Kingdom. Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming Mr. Kezang.
Good afternoon. Kuzuzangpo from the mountains of Thimphu. Kuzuzangpo in Bhutanese means good health and well-being, and I guess prayers from the mountains. And it was a pleasure going to Brunei a while ago with Rex. Thank you very much for taking us there. Mesmerizing, and all the tributes to all the frontliners across the world for keeping us all safe from COVID-19. I'll be sharing a screen for my presentation. Once again, thank you. Once again, thank you. And I'm Kezang. Thank you very much, moderator. Thank you to the Philippines, LIBT Philippines team, Country Director John, and Deputy Country Director Ralph. Thank you for this opportunity. And my greetings also to the distinguished speakers, as well as other panelists here. I know Iranda is joining from Sri Lanka. We have Cesare, CEO of LIBT, and Tha as well, joining just above, I guess, one floor above me, or a building away from me. What I'm going to present today is how we have built a company in the last 1 year or so amidst COVID-19. My presentation will cover around what kind of problems we're trying to solve, what is our solutions pack, what is the kind of framework that we are following, what are some of the programs that we are delivering, and then close with telling briefly about the company itself, LIBT Bhutan, how it is related to the whole setup here, and then quickly conclude with a slide on our journey through the COVID-19 to align with the theme, today's theme on global competitiveness amidst COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. While my presentation may not be relevant from a global context, I can vouch you to bring you to Bhutan and tell you our story, how we have come through in the last 1 year or so with LIBT Bhutan with us throughout the journey. Our tagline is "The future begins here," and the problem statement we are trying to solve is the haphazard access to new technologies and lack of employable workforce. And this is packed as a solution suite as delivering global economy entrepreneurial workforce by harnessing technology for equity in education. In terms of breaking up the real problem statement, and I'm sure this is also the case in many developing countries. We're trying to solve the problem of limited market-ready technology and business skilled talent pool. We heard now in the beginning of the webinar today talking about bringing industry and academia together. As you can see, number 3, mismatch between education versus the job market. And then we also have had, prior to COVID-19, a large number of students going abroad to pursue higher education, impacting on our international reserves, as well as posing problems to families who cannot afford to send students outside. And of course, one of the most important sub-problems that we are trying to unpack is the lack of entrepreneurial culture and product-first mindset. So this is the problem statement manifestation that we are trying to solve. And our solution suite consists of undergrad diploma programs, 2+1 university pathways, which again, now mentioned in the beginning of the webinar. We also do short-term corporate courses, training courses. We also have a vertical on strategic advisory services, catering, high-end consulting and advisory services. And on the other hand, we have the vertical, the Tech Park products and services, which comprises of startups, advisory and incubation services, co-working community space, serviced offices, and digital nomads hosting services. So this is how the solution stack looks like for the business problem that we are trying to solve, that Bhutan has been facing for a long time. Our L&D model is based on the 70-20-10 learning and development model, which offers flexibility, encourages collaboration built around learning, unlearning, and relearning, facilitates student autonomy, promotes student ownership, and fosters meaningful experiential development, and most important, propagating applied knowledge, skills, and abilities. 70 experiential, 20 social, and 10 formal, more a corporate learning and development model that we align our delivery. Breaking down the L&D model, we have in terms of experiential learning, different forms of experiential learning, case studies, field trips, internships, apprenticeships. Under social learning, guest lectures, conferences, group works, social networking, and for formal learning, lectures, seminars, and self-paced learning management system content, access to e-library, and workshops. And these are traditionally translated correspondingly as theory, practice, and on-the-job training. On-the-job training correlating to experiential learning, more also elements of social learning there, practical, obviously a lot of social as well as experiential learning, and the theory is the formal learning. In terms of assessment methods, based on the Bloom's taxonomy to support attention, retention, and transfer of learning, we have a combination of formative assessments and summative assessments, helping students with the assessment for learning to learn and practice, and also assess students' performance as a summative assessment. What we offer in Bhutan, and no mentioned qualified diploma programs, we offer about actually 17 diplomas, and these are spread across 3 tracks: business and management, startups and entrepreneurship, and computer science and IT across level 3 through to level 5 diploma. In terms of the progression, university progression routes, an example from the Qualify is that you can, after 2 years of diploma in Bhutan, in the Bhutan campus, LIBT Bhutan campus, you can pursue, students can pursue their final year undergrad degree in the UK. For instance, somebody with level 4 and 5 diploma in business management can pursue a final year BSc degree in business administration final year of BA Business Management, and final year of BSc International Accounting, and similarly level 4 and 5 Diploma in Business Enterprise, you could continue your final year of undergrad degree in the UK, for instance, with the University of Portsmouth, with whom LIBT has a partnership agreement. So about us, we are the Bhutan Education and Technology Academy Park, in short, the Beta Park, and our private investors are the Youngfell Private Limited, which is a sustainable business brand which has been in operation in Bhutan since 1988. And our international franchisor is the London Institute of Business and Technology, who is represented here by the CEO and other team members today. We are located on the outskirts of Thimphu, on the mountains of Thimphu, in a place called Chamjika, about 11 kilometers away from the core city. But we do have a business development office, or a city branch, as we call it, in the core city. This is about us in terms of the business structure. Our vision is to build an inclusive, world-class technology-enabled education and innovation ecosystem. And our mission is to bless, in the sense to create a socially conscious global standard, technology-enabled lifelong learning and development community where businesses and other stakeholders are supported to achieve more. Learners are empowered for the future. Employees, or we call them associates, have a purposeful work environment with equal opportunity for learning and personal growth. Startups and entrepreneurs are provided an inspiring platform to innovate and succeed, mostly through the Tech Park ecosystem that we are creating. And of course, shareholders' value is maximized through continuous growth of our business. So these are the mission statements for the Beta Park. Aligning to the theme, to today's theme, in terms of how we have come through our journey amidst COVID-19, I'm not sure if there is a case to discuss beyond COVID-19, because as Honorable Vice Governor mentioned, it's 7-8 years down the line when we might be seeing some light in terms of COVID going away. But for us, it has been a real experiential learning journey. On 6th March, in terms of the milestones and activities that we have seen in the last 1 year, the first COVID-19 case was announced on 6th March. Foreign tourists, that was the first time Bhutan had the first case. And then despite all of those global pandemic spreading all over the world, we, Youngfell, the London Institute of Business and Technology, embarked on this journey. And we took around 2 months or so for the project, for the Beta Park ideation and concept. Unfortunately, we had this huge nationwide lockdown, the first nationwide lockdown on 11 August 2020. Despite all of these challenges, we were able to kickstart our pre-operations phase on 1st September. And on 2nd November, that's after about 2 months, we were able to incorporate our business as a private limited company, the Bhutan Education and Technology Academy Park Private Limited. We didn't look back since then, and on 11th November, which is a national holiday in Bhutan, we launched our first marketing and communications event. That was our first PR and communications and visibility event that was conducted for the company. Unfortunately, again, as we moved through last winter, 21st December, we went into a nationwide lockdown 2.0, the second nationwide lockdown. And Bhutan announced its first COVID death as on 8th January 2021. We kept moving on, and on 7th February we did a soft opening, an open house with following all COVID-19 protocols. And as we moved through, we were lucky to be part of the government's unwavered commitment to mass vaccinate our population. And thanks to our king, who is at the helm of this whole fight against the COVID-19, as well as the Royal Government of Bhutan, with the Ministry of Health ever ready to move and help all of us move through the COVID-19 pandemic. As you can see, the red milestones mixing with green, a few green, more reds, and the black ones are when we did our rolling intakes. We do 2-monthly rolling intakes. The first rolling intake was done on 25th March. That was the first batch of learners that we had, 11 of them, the pioneers, to come into the Beta Park. Luckily also, we were fortunate to have about 110 DSUP learners. These are the guardians of peace, volunteer frontliners who have been inducted into by the king to help the country through the COVID-19 phase. And this group of 110 learners who were inducted into the Beta Park for skilling and reskilling them into again full skill program in information technology. There was a group on networking, a group on web design, and a group on e-commerce. Then we moving on, we had our second rolling intake, which happened in May. A few learners there. And then July, we had a big intake, about 40 learners, our third rolling intake. And on 6th September, earlier this month, we had 20 learners enroll, close to about 70 or so learners that are there in the campus. By the way, those who enrolled on 15th April completed a 5-month accelerated course on 21st September, and we saw them off. So we had our first alumni graduate on 21st September. And the 5th rolling intake is coming up next month, which will be our last intake for this year. And as you can see, we have our journey, as with many countries and many teams, many companies around the world. We have come through the troughs and the rough and tough part of the whole last 1 year. But it has been very fulfilling. It has been very purposeful, and we have had logistical issues. We have had dangers of going into another lockdown. But since we had our students come in, luckily we never had a lockdown. And those that took place, lockdown 2.0 and 1.0, were during the pre-ops as we were preparing to welcome our learners. And this is how we have moved through the COVID-19 maze. A very interesting journey, a lot of learning. And we are still 1 year old since 1st September. And we are in the process of still stabilizing operations. So with this, I'd like to thank everyone for listening. And this is our team saying hi from the mountains of Thimphu, Bhutan. Thank you, and Tashi Delek to everyone in Asia and other parts of the world viewing this webinar with us. Thank you. Thank you, LIBT Philippines. Thank you, LIBT Global. And thank you, everyone in the audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kazang, for helping us learn all of those journey and the steps that you have taken with Beta Park. And of course, we'd like to ask the audience now, have you chimed in your questions for our panel of speakers? Well, it's not too late. Keep sending them in, because at this point, we will call back our speakers to join me here in our studio, here in our webinar. Miss Notain, Mr. Kazang, and Mr. Rex Villanueva. But wait, there's more. We have 2 additional resource persons who can share their thoughts and interact with our live audiences. Joining us is Mr. Randa Ginige, a senior lecturer at LIBT and head of learning development at Beta Park. And of course, the man himself of LIBT, who was patient and generous to answer our questions in the previous webinar. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Cesare Atterani, the CEO of LIBT. Welcome, gentlemen and lady. Okay, just going to try and minimize the sound here we're hearing in the background. Okay, so there you go. Thank you for that. Let's now go to our first question. And our first question is for Miss No. This is coming from Miss Thelma Cajolo. You mentioned as a takeaway point the digital transformation that at the core of the current work evolution. How does this affect the relationship between managerial positions and workers working at home? And how can those in managerial positions ensure that they adapt to this transformation? Ms. No?
Thank you for such excellent question. I would reiterate the importance of efficiency and productivity. Right, that's what we want, and how it happens, we're not in control because of the different circumstances. So, I would say the most important component to this is creating a psychologically safe environment where your subordinates feel safe and comfortable to share their ideas and voice their concerns. Because not everyone is comfortable in adapting to the changes or transformation. So if you're able to ask for help, instead of feeling inadequate, incapable, so you as a manager will be able to support, help, and inspire your workers. So managers as leaders need to be role models. And to be honest, we don't know everything too, right? So let them know so that we can create a culture of learning. It's okay to make mistakes, as long as we're learning. Continue to instill the importance of learning and promote. And this second point is very important. Promote social connection, because working from home can be quite isolating. So small things like greeting at the beginning and just asking after each other. I know it's a small talk, but that's how we, as social being, have energy, and that's how we get recharged. Promote when you promote the social connections, they can help each other out too. You're not the only one providing help and support, right? Like when you create a support network, they will be able to reach out to each other as well. Thirdly, provide them with some tools and trainings and that they might need. Professional development on how to use certain tools, on productivity, on time management, and that's how you inspire them to continue to learn and create this learning organization. Right, and as the Vice Governor Bakuro said, it's so important now for all of us to be disciplined. Right, the ability and willingness for all of us to manage the time and the learning, because not everybody, because you don't have your boss, telling you what to do at work. You have to manage your time. You have to manage your learning. So if you are a role model and you show them that you are also learning along with them, and that you are there to support them and encourage that safe community of learners, I think as individual, as team, and as the whole organization, you'll be able to move forward regardless of the challenges. I hope that answered your question.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Nova. That's a very fine point. But I think we can also hear a little bit from Mr. Cesare Petriani for additional points on this particular subject. Cesare, please. Hang on. Let's just unmute. Cesare, there you go.
My perspective, when it comes to the main pillars, process, and as mistakes that
I'm sorry. Yep. Hang on. Let's take a little bit of a moment here, because I think there's something wrong with the microphone feed, Cesare. I think we're not hearing you very clearly, or it sounds a bit. Yes. Okay. While we fix that. I think there's a little. Okay, while we fix this issue a little bit, Cesare will get back to you on this point just as soon as we see if the technical matter is resolved. In the meantime, let's move on to another question, and let's see if we can get a new question here for one of our panelists. Here is from Miss Erica Rubio. Hello, po. Good day. Want to ask, in the midst of a pandemic, a lot of business establishments are partially disclosed and downsizing due to COVID-19. What would you advise to the small and medium enterprise and to those aspiring entrepreneurs to pursue, even in this situation we're facing? Thank you po in advance. Now, perhaps we can ask first, Mr. Quezang, could you give us some of your take on this? She's asking, amidst the pandemic, what are we expecting, the small and medium enterprises to do? What could be the best course of action for them? Your thoughts on this, Mr. Quezang?
Thank you. A very good question again. I hope the sound is okay.
Yes, we clearly hear you. Yes.
Great. The pandemic has really hit hard the small and medium enterprises, micro, small and medium enterprises, especially in the tourism sector, the travel industry, and of course the hospitality as part of the overall tourism industry. And many other businesses, even in Bhutan, have shut down. What the government and civil society and the businesses themselves are doing is to take stock of the opportunity to actually relook at the business strategy. How much are you using technology in your processes? We have also seen technology companies are the ones who are doing very well and deploying the right technology tools. Of course, you need to train your people. You already have the processes. Putting all of those will provide you, I guess, the bridge to a proper, transition as you come out of COVID. A lot of livelihoods have been lost. A lot of businesses have closed, but it is an opportunity to upskill, reskill yourself, and also look into some of the government programs that are there to help you through this very difficult times. And again, I think thanks are also due to the frontliners who are there, who are keeping us safe despite the challenges that the invisible enemy is posing to all of us across the world. I'm not sure if I'm doing justice to the question. Thank you.
Well, thank you for those points, Kezang. Definitely something to think about for those who are in the small and medium enterprises. I'd like to hear some thoughts also from Mr. Eranda, as head of the learning and development at Beta Park. What were your thoughts about this particular question? What can we say to those who are aspiring through this pandemic if they are starting up, Mr. Eranda?
Sure. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. I think that's a fantastic question, Erica. Well, I think if you really think about some of the most successful and some of the largest organizations in the world, starting from Microsoft, Apple, and so on, a lot of them started during a recession time. Either a global recession or a US recession. So as weird as it may sound, a lot of successful entrepreneurs actually started their enterprises during tough times like these. And as you can see, a lot of people who have been working for large organizations are realizing that maybe there are more opportunities and more ways of fulfilling your life's aspirations and ambitions rather than working for organizations. And at the same time, when large organizations, big players sort of downsize, that creates small pockets of opportunities in the market. So for entrepreneurs, it's all about grabbing a part of that market, right? Grabbing a small portion of the market. So it's actually a great time to actually test the market, test maybe one of your new ideas, products, services. But the point is, a lot of people complain that okay, where can I find the resources? Where can I find when I myself don't have a secure job? How can I find maybe capital and other resources to start my own enterprise? But that's not how a lot of sort of successful entrepreneurs think when they are starting. They start with whatever they have, with the least amount of resources they have. They start lean, they start agile, they take a minimum viable product to the market, whatever that may be. It can be a new ice cream flavor, whatever, right? You just make whatever you can, and you take it to the market, you test it with the market, and quickly improve, and then sort of jump the curves, as we say in the entrepreneurial world. So it's as much as it is a difficult time, as my good friend Kezang mentioned. It's also a time of opportunity for entrepreneurs, especially the ones with the spirit. If you really want to make it happen, if you really want to do it, then now is a great time.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. That was a very, of course, bubblegum ice cream. You can start off with something like that, or something much more simple, and go lean. That's a very good point. Thank you so much, Mr. Eranda. So let's go on with another question here. And this time, this is for Mr. Rex Villanueva from Ms. Jesh Salvatierra. With the number of regular meetings that the Filipino Association is hosting, how did this pandemic affect you? And what updated practices do you employ now to adapt to the current COVID challenges? Mr. Villanueva? Okay, can we unmute Mr. Villanueva? Hang on. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much for that question, Ms. Jess Salvatierra. So right now we are facing the pandemic, and for us, like ordinary citizens, Filipinos, we're very surprised with this event. We cannot control this. Nobody has prepared for this. But it's very good that the technology right now is very helpful compared if, for example, this pandemic happened maybe before 2000, year 2000, we will be having very much difficulties regarding communications. Right now, the technology is very helpful. We can actually we have the different groups like in our WhatsApp, also the our social media. So we are having these advantages, and then we are trying to benefit from this. So right now, for us, for our community to be always be in touch, we are making sure that everybody receives all the information. For example, right now we are asked by the Philippine Embassy to have some of the contributions to help our kababayans here in Brunei that are greatly affected with the pandemic with regards to their income, with their work, so that we can collect financial support to them through the Philippine Embassy. And then the technology, as I mentioned, is very helpful. And also like online banking, you don't need to go to the bank to deposit your contribution. You can just go online. And also, this is our time also that to analyze also on how like in the war, it's a like preparation. Now is the time that you can prepare all your records. Now is the time to have some sort of brainstorming analysis on how to improve our organization here. So that's my answer to that question.
Okay, yes, thank you very much, Mr. Villanueva. Let's go to a question now from Mr. Jethro Maliag. Again, question for Sir Iranda. As a senior lecturer at LIBT, is there a direct effect to the learners whether they open or close their camera? Mr. Iranda.
Hi, Jethro. That's a very interesting question. As a lecturer, is there a direct effect to the learners whether they open or close their camera? So it has two sides to this, and I think Mr. Sesiri will also have something interesting to say about this. As a lecturer, sometimes it is a little weird to teach to a group of students when you can't see their faces. At least, I mean, we like to sort of, as trainers, we always want to interact with the participants. And at LIBT, we try really hard to do that as much as possible. And it depends on the type of program as well. I mean, if it is a more sort of level 7 program, then the interaction is less. But if it is more towards level 4, 5 and entrepreneurial kind of programs, then we have more interaction. It is a little difficult from a lecturer's point of view not to actually see the participant's face, the student's face. But I think the question is also, if you can get the question on the screen kindly. I think the question is about how would that affect the student? Is there a direct effect to the learners whether they open or close their camera? I don't think there's a very big effect because the learner will always see the lecturer, the trainer will always be visible. So the learner is receiving the whatever is being delivered. So from a learner's point of view, I don't think that's a very big problem. I think it's more of a problem for the trainers to have this understanding that learners cannot switch on the cameras all the time, and sort of have that balance and understanding. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe Mr. Seziri might have something else to add to this.
Yes, Mr. Aranda, thank you very much. Yes, Cesare, I think we had a little conversation about cameras the other day. Would you like to give your thoughts on this, on how it will affect the learners, and of course the point of Mr. Aranda, how it affects also those who are teaching? Go ahead, Cesare.
Absolutely. I think it affects the lecturers more than the students, in my opinion, and because people learn differently, right? And some of them are actually comfortable not having the camera on. So if you are comfortable not having the camera on, then obviously it should be that way, right? But the interesting conversation is that we know 5G is coming out. 5G, for those who don't know, it's a low latency, high-speed internet technology. And then around that, a lot of interesting things are going to happen. And so currently at the moment, our team is basically working on various different virtual VR, virtual reality delivery models, meaning that you will probably be able to have a very similar experience you would have in a regular classroom. And then, Apple is working on what they call Apple Glass, which is a mixed reality environment where you have the glass and you're able to sort of engage with the actual reality in some form. So we are working on a lot of these different delivery models in line with these new technologies that are coming out. So when they come out, I think it'll be pretty interesting to see.
Yes, thank you, Cesar. That would be interesting if you had that interaction through Apple Glasses or some form of 3D or virtual reality classroom. Thank you so much for that point of view. We'll look forward to seeing more development in that. Now, Miss Jelly Fernandez was asking, good afternoon. I just want to ask Sir Rex, how do you help those who lost their jobs in Brunei? Mr. Rex?
This is a very hard question to answer because we are not in the position to give jobs back to the people who are affected with this pandemic. The only thing that we can help those people is to, if they are really affected, they have to inform us, and then we can just coordinate with the Philippine Embassy on how they will be being helped by this office. Because as Filipino Association member or officers, we are very limited with this kind of help that we can extend to those people.
Okay, yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Rex. Learning is one way we can develop ourselves and then find new jobs, as Ms. Nall mentioned earlier. With regards to digital transformation, maybe we'd like to ask Cesare to add a few more points into this discussion, Cesare.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about the technical issue earlier. So when it comes to digital transformation, we're basically talking about three different pillars: people, process, and technology. And what we have seen working with various different companies over the years is that anybody who starts, when you hear the word digital transformation, you think about technology immediately, right? And what we have seen though is that anybody who starts a digital transformation journey and you make technology the number one priority, that whole thing fails. People are number one. People are the key. So you really have to ensure that people are ready, irrespective of what technology. I mean, you can have rocket science technologies built in, but if people are not ready, that is going to fail. And that is number one thing to I think understand. And then secondly, you guys as leaders, some of you who are playing leadership roles, it is extremely important to ensure that you engage with your employees all the time, because you don't really, this is sort of a hybrid model, right? So you don't really have this day-to-day engagement like you used to during the pre-COVID situation. So what happens is, sort of sometimes isolation is a serious problem, and especially in bigger cities like Manila or Bangkok, larger part of the population are basically living in apartments, which is very confined space. So that adds another layer into this psychological aspect of the whole thing. So now, for example, at LIBT, I basically take quite a bit of time to basically talk to a lot of these guys one-on-one. And I try to do that as much as I can, actually. Because everybody's working from different locations and restricted movements and whatnot. So it is extremely important to understand that you as a leader, you have to engage with them, and you have to talk to them, and you have to call them up and say like, hey, how you doing? It shouldn't be just all about work. You should talk to them about their personal lives and the struggles that they're dealing with. And that is number one, that is a key thing as a leader, I believe. And then provided that you have set up tools that are collaborative. For example, one of the most simple examples that I can give you is Slack. So if you implement tools that can collaborate irrespective of where you are, then the whole thing in terms of engaging with them and monitoring becomes much easier as well. Because the question kind of talked about how do you monitor employees that are working remotely. So those were the points that I wanted to add earlier. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cesare. Yes, they are indeed fine points. Let's see if we have a couple of questions more. One here from Hiner Odanga. Anyone from the panel may answer. With the pandemic and with the online learning delivery mode, which appears to have no difference no matter what school you are enrolled in, private schools with their huge tuition and other fees seem to be at a disadvantage compared to state colleges and universities with their almost zero payment fees. What strategies could the private schools use in order to turn this apparent disadvantage into their advantage? Okay, so maybe let's ask somebody from the panel who may answer this question. Can we, maybe ask from Cesare?
Yeah, let me take that on. So a lot of the now there are state universities and colleges all across the globe, I think, and in the US's case, it's slightly different. Most of them are even the state universities. You basically have to pay in the US. Now the state system runs differently, right? It is funded by the government, and there's a certain budget allocation. Whereas then it is also true that the state sector cannot really serve the demand that is there. And that is why often you see various different rigorous selection processes with the state sector universities. And us as the private sector, what we tend to be different in terms of a lot of the state sector universities that we see is the applicability and the closeness to the industry. And for example, a lot of the lecturers we have, they are basically industry experts, and they are not traditional academics. For example, if somebody teaches a marketing module, then that person is a industry seasoned marketer that are practicing at the moment. And it is quite normal, and everybody knows that the academia runs a couple of years behind compared to the industry. So we try to reduce that gap, and also we've been able to sort of bring the price points down to a point where it is very affordable to everyone. So I hope that kind of answers that question. If Aranda wants to add anything, please go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Cesare, for that point. Mr. Randa?
Yes, thank you, Cesare. While completely agreeing with Mr. Cesare's thoughts, the things that I could sort of think is that I think the internet has made the traditional education obsolete. I think we all agree with that, and I think that's something LIBT really understands, isn't it, Mr. Cesare? I mean, you will very soon see LIBT introducing platforms which are, cutting edge education service delivery. I don't want to divulge it yet because we have a lot of things in plan, and No and Kezang and the whole team is working on that. Very exciting stuff. So I think it's about the private schools and universities and institutions will have to understand the dynamics have changed. The earth has moved under our feet, and we have to now change how we deliver content. So it's a really interesting time that we are in, and it's time for us to experiment and learn and change and adapt into new models. And the sooner that somebody creates those platforms and get onto that type of business, the bigger market that they will be able to capture. So I think that's what I wanted to add. Rather than divulging too much about what LIBT has in store in this space already.
Okay,
I
thank
have,
you, Mr. Rand. Yes,
if
go
I
ahead.
may, I will just give a short, really brief insights on this. And we were
Go
talking
ahead.
about the changes in workforces, right? And the workforces are looking for people who are skillful. So I think if the private schools and sectors are able to focus on building skills, because today's skill gap, it will become a skill crisis in a very near future. So if we can bridge that gap and provide, skills so that the graduates, the people who have completed the course are ready to enter the workforce, and that's how you can market yourself, and that's how you can fill that gap.
Very good point
Very
indeed. Yes. Yeah, go ahead, Cesare.
Sorry. Very recently, I'd like to make an announcement as well. Very recently, we became a premier education partner with HubSpot. HubSpot is a leading CRM and a customer service sales support platform. And us being a premier education partner, we're able to basically give enterprise level access to all of our students. And also we work with startups, and we're able to give this platform for startups at a 90% discount. So if you would like to experience enterprise level sales, customer service applications, and you want to learn these things, including the certifications, it is absolutely free of charge. Please drop their email address, and somebody from our team will get in touch with you right away.
Wow, that's a nice announcement, Cesare. Thank you for that. And of course, for the viewers, that's a good opportunity. And what we've learned from this is, shortening the gap, keeping that close and being able to provide more opportunities for those who will be enrolling in the private schools. And we are changing up, so to speak. The earth is moving, Mr. Aranda, right? We are in this motion now, and we have to cope with the changes. So let's see a couple more questions perhaps before we end. This is from Leo Rodriguez Par. What makes the level 7 strategic leadership course of LIBT different from other postgraduate course offered by other schools? Maybe Ms. No could help us with this?
Sure. I have a very short and sweet answer for that, straight to the point. And I'm reiterating what Mr. Cesare just shared with us. All the courses are taught by practitioners. So it's not just, the lecturers are not just purely academic. Our lecturers are individuals who are in the field, who has the expertise, who can bring the actual scenarios into the learning environment. So that will make what we offer at LIBC different and effective.
has more value, Ms. No, right? It has more value because now you're dealing with not only a lecturer, but somebody who's actually in the practice of this particular skill. Thank you very much. James Leoparda says, is it possible to get my diploma in London? Will LIBT help in securing a visa? That's a nice question. Okay.
I'll take that up. I'll take that up. So most of these diploma programs are virtually delivered. And however, if you do like to study the third year or the final stage of a master's program with a university, we can arrange to do that. And you can certainly go there. And even if you complete a undergraduate program virtually, and you want to attend the graduation with the university, we can definitely facilitate to get the visas as well. But if you are studying in the UK, but do note that the tuition fees are different. It's a different tuition fee if you are studying on campus. But you have the ability to study the programs virtually, just like how we are delivering at the moment, and you can attend the graduation, absolutely.
Wow, okay, there you go. I hope that answers your question. Do we still have a few more questions? Let me see. No more? Okay, very good. Thank you again to our panel for patiently and generously giving us answers for those questions. And at this point, we will now call on Mr. John Alianza back to the studio. He is the LIBT Country Director for the Philippines to present the Certificate of Appreciation for our other speaker, of course, Mr. Rex Arvin Villanueva. Mr. Alianza, go ahead, please.
Yes, good evening, Sir Rex. Evening,
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. So, thank you very much for giving us the privilege for the Filipino Association of Brunei Darussalam to present with us. So, let us now please post the certificate. So, the Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to Mr. Rex Arvin Villanueva in recognition of participation as a panelist for the session on Business and Management of Webinar Series Global Competitiveness Amidst Covid-19 and Beyond, hosted by LIBT Philippines on the 28th of September 2021, signed by Cecily Patirani, Chief Executive Officer of LIBT, and John Alianza, Country Director. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Papasalamat ng Filipino Association for this appreciation. Thank you
Yes,
very
and
much.
we look forward, sir, for academic collaboration with the Filipino Association in Brunei.
Yes, sir. Whenever we are available, we are we would like to share everything that we have.
Yes, very
Thank you.
good. Thank you. Thank you again, Mr. Villanueva. Thank you so much, Mr. John Alianza. It's really interesting to know that whatever industry we are in right now, knowledge and skills in business and management is important to ensure that our organization will be future-proof. Are we supposed to be afraid of what the new normal brings? Well, it's very clear from this webinar series that as long as we maintain our global competitiveness, we will be able to make it and still find satisfying opportunities now, during the pandemic, and beyond. The London Institute of Business and Technology will help you achieve your global competitiveness and become a global citizen. You can go to www.libt.co.uk, as you can see on the screen below, and choose your preferred course and avail of the free 30-day trial. Again, that's a free 30-day trial. And for more information, you can also contact Mr. Ralph L. Balmaceda, the Deputy Country Director, and you email him at ralph@libt.co.uk. Mr. Balmaceda will assist you on how to avail the scholarship opportunity. Of course, this webinar may not be possible without the support of the following webinar partners: the London Institute of Business and Technology Philippines team, Modala Beach Resort, the Filipino Hospitality, Martin Nichols Consulting, Ralph Consulting, TriPH Media Broadcasting, Phil Robotics, University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers Brunei Chapter, the Filipino Community in Brunei Darussalam, Bhutan Education and Technology Academy Park, or Beta Park, and Ambagan Philippines. Thank you so much, our webinar partners, for making all of this possible. We would also like to thank all the support of the following officers at the London Institute of Business and Technology. Of course, the man himself, Mr. Cesare Patirani, President and CEO. Tapong Awar, Head of Administration. Crystal Kohlmeier, Head of Contents and Communication, and her team for all the support and promotions. Mr. John Alianza, the Country Director, Philippines, and Mr. Ralph Balmaceda, the Deputy Country Director, Philippines. Please note this very important announcement. Our dear viewers right now who are still with us, and many are still with us at this time, issuance of certificates will be based on your registration plus a proof of attendance and participation. Make sure you comment below with your details such as your name, your organization, and your location. Or take a selfie with the webinar in your background. Post and make sure to tag LIBT Philippines. You will receive your certificate of participation within 3 to 5 days after this webinar. And upon receipt, may we request that you post your certificate with your favorite picture of yourself, tag LIBT Philippines, and use the following hashtags. Hashtag LIBTPH. Hashtag Act Local, Think Global. Hashtag I am globally competitive. And here are some examples on the screen now. LIBT Philippines will be choosing posts to be featured by LIBT, plus a chance to become the next scholar. Again, this has been your webinar moderator, webinar series moderator, Jerome Robles, Rome for short. Thank you all for attending, and see you all in future activities of LIBT Philippines. Have a good evening, everyone.